Welcome back to the detailing bay. We're back in the bay and today we're looking at carpets, Dave.
Yes.
Interiors in general, fabric, upholstery.
Yeah.
How to clean it. I mean, it's one of those areas that you want to keep as clean as possible, but inevitably it's going to get dirty.
Which is why using a mat is a good example.
It is.
Because, yeah, you want to keep the mats OEM and they're there to buy. So with a few relatively cheap products, you can make them look so much better. I mean, obviously this has come out of the 32, so it's got
and we're going for
20 years on the clock.
Maximum abuse. This is the original set of mats.
Yes.
Driver's mat.
Yeah.
So it's a good example to put some products to the test. I mean, we've got little bits of tar and all sorts in here. So what are we going to do? Shall we do 50-50 and then before and after? Yeah. So these are the three we've chosen.
Yeah.
We've got the Odour Glym interior shampoo. I've used this before, foaming one, dead easy to use.
Yeah, it's good because, especially if you want to give your car a freshen up, there's no harm, you don't have to wait for stains or dirt to build up before you give it a freshen up. It helps stay on top of it. The high foam is really good for the fact that it takes longer to penetrate through, so if you want to give it a quick go, freshen up the interior, it's really, really good for that.
And I don't know if it's in your head, but when this foam sat on the top, you can agitate it with a cloth, like a damp microfiber.
Yeah, it's already foamed up, you don't have to give it as much elbow grease to get that.
Feels like it's doing a better job.
Yeah.
Like with a wet vac, I'd probably use a wetter product. But if you've only got a cloth, like a warm, damp microfiber, that and that together probably going to work really well.
Match made in heaven, yeah.
This has probably gone beyond that though, this mat, hasn't it? So,
we'll get it looking a lot better.
Yeah. Next, we've got the Gyeon fabric cleaner.
Like your classic, really good carpet cleaner, traditional, just wet on. It can penetrate through more, though you'd have to use extraction if that was the case, because obviously you don't want it to go all the way through and you'd end up with residues. But yeah, really good, like your more traditional carpet cleaner. Yeah,
I've never used these two, but yeah, just kind of a neutral smell.
Yeah, so that one's really good, especially if you've got staining or water spot marks on the you know, like where you rest your hand on the car, places like that. It's really good at quick spot repairs, if you like. Yeah, absolutely.
And then finally the Koch Chemie, is that pronounced right?
Yeah.
Koch Chemie Upholstery.
Upholstery. So the main reason for it, it's a really good, like the Gyeon, really good on fabrics, but being a little bit more gentle, and then the makeup of the foam, it's really good on Alcantara as well.
Nice fruity, almost a sherbety smell.
Yeah. But yeah, perfect for Alcantara. There are many cleaners you can use on Alcantara, but it's a nice fabric. You don't want to mat it off, you don't leave any residues, and people are always very scared of it as well. But it is mindful to know it is a synthetic. It's not a leather. It's not nubuck. It's not like a lot of people think it is. But yeah, absolutely brilliant on that. It's a little bit more gentle and brings Alcantara back to life.
With all of these, do you do that test of, you know, because they all say somewhere like test an inconspicuous area? Yeah, even though we've picked three pretty safe products, if you have got a really sensitive surface, like
you should always, even if you think you know it, you should always just test in an area. You don't know, if you don't know fully the history of the car, is something else on it.
Spot repair.
Absolutely anything. So absolutely any product you ever use, always test on somewhere that's hidden, just to be sure.
Right, I'll grab these. Do you want to put some tape on and let's get to work?
Yeah.
Right, we've gone for the Gyeon.
Yeah.
What brush have you got?
This is a Vikan, known as a nail brush. Some people are looking at it going, oh, do the stripes, but it's not ideal for that given the shape. You need a squared off one, so a lot of the leather cleaning brushes can do that if you're into your striping.
We're not going for striping today.
But this, brilliant, nylon bristle, really durable, little tiny needles, gets into all the areas.
Yeah.
So we need a nice little coverage on there, get it all covered. And now we're just going to go in and scrub the pile. It does take a little bit of time.
No, that brush is agitating it quite nicely, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not too fierce. It's getting all the areas. But there is another way if you've got a drill. But you continue on that, get a cloth then and you wipe over, which will help just lift some of that top surface dirt off, and then kind of repeat the process. And then what you ideally want, you've got two ways of going down this now. You can either use extraction, or you need to get them dried off and make sure there's no residues left behind. So like you know, you can use your cheapest of microfibers at this point. We're not worried about scratching or anything like that. But we'll do a quick demo of it with a drill as well, and you can see how it does get into that pile just a little bit more.
Yep. Right. Here's one we made earlier.
Perfect. Just give it a little spritz.
And this is like a 2-inch brush, but you can get
5 inch as well, yeah. It's a little bit messier.
I can imagine that's good for like stitching, like just as you hit the edge there.
Yeah, oh absolutely,
straight
yeah.
into anything.
But drill's not always the best option if you've got a more delicate fibre.
Yeah, because when you feel that drill bit, they are quite harsh, aren't they?
It can be,
spinning,
yeah.
What speed are you on? Are you just on the lowest speed?
Lowest speed, yeah. And then, but you can see it really agitates, gets into the dirt, really cleaning them fibres really deep. So
yeah.
A drill's going to make your life easier, is the best way of looking at it, rather than just scrubbing by hand. But if you've got the time, scrubbing by hand, it's always going to make a great improvement.
Yeah.
It depends how far you want to go.
Right. Should we get a microfiber and wipe it off?
Microfibers, get it dried off, and then that was just literally a quick example.
See how much stuff it's thrown up,
yeah.
because it's all on here now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was vacked before, and it's just, yeah, proper
Yeah.
gone right into the grains.
So we'll get some microfibers, dry it off,
Yeah.
and let's see where we're at. And then what you'll see is the dirt that it's lifting out there,
Yeah.
all sat on the surface. This is why when you have to make that choice here is if you're going to use extraction or if you're just going to dry it naturally. Extraction is always best, but you've got to work with the tools that you've got.
Yeah.
Not everybody has an extractor. So you just need to get as much of that loose dirt off there now, and you just continue.
I find, like, in this situation where you're not using a wet vac, a cloth in a bucket of nearly boiling water, wringed out so it's steaming,
yeah.
and then you can use the steam to just get really deep in.
Yeah, what you can do is, I mean, these are a lot dirtier than you realise until you've gone through it. But yeah, you can, if you feel you've gone a little bit overboard with the cleaner as well, just be mindful, you're probably best getting some water on there, like a damp cloth,
Yeah.
giving it a wipe and get that residue out there.
Yeah, until your cloth's pretty much clean.
Yeah. Or to a level you're happy with visually.
Yeah.
It's all how far you want to take it. You can obviously get them to a point where they're so clean, you know, they're looking like new, but it's how much time you've got. This is a good example of how you can give them a quick freshen up and make quite an impact just by doing
For not
that.
a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can instantly see already the difference there, but shall we get the tape off?
Yeah, let's have a look. So that's a man on your drive sort of approach to cleaning, and as you can see there is a good difference. Once that's fully air dry, it's still a little bit damp to the touch, let that fully air dry, and then just to get them fibres back, just give it a quick vac over.
So then the next level, after you've cleaned it all, is protection.
Yes.
And to be fair, you just need a clean carpet that's dry and a decent product, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of options here. Everyone has their own personal favourite. As long as you stick to a reputable brand, they all perform really, really well. For me, I've always liked the Gtechniq one. It's always been a great performer. Works as well interior and exterior as well onto fabric goods if you have them. But yeah, dead easy to apply. Liberally spray on the area. I like to level with a cloth just to make sure I've got everything. You can reapply later on if you want and do 2 coats. Totally up to you. But you need to go 12 to 24 hours to fully dry out. And they all have a chemical smell to them, and it will consume the car at first. So if you're doing interior, you want to ideally be masked in a well ventilated area.
Are they that strong?
It can get you a little bit, but out here it doesn't affect you too much. But when you start doing it inside a car, and you're doing all your carpets, seats, and everything else, it starts to build up. The beauty of the Gtechniq as well, it works really, really well on Alcantara. Some like to coat it, some don't. You've got to be a bit careful, but it is a good one for that as well.
Right. Crack on then, shall we do a
let's
quick
give it an
demo?
application.
So
Yeah.
take these two away.
So let's give the bottle a good shake, and literally so we'll leave it at that. And then a lot of people do this by hand as well, where they just kind of, but I just like to
work it in.
Yeah, to work it in. Get all them fibres, make sure they're nicely coated. And you might just get a hint of that solventy smell now.
I quite like that smell though.
It's
not a horrible solvent. It's like your marker pen style.
Yeah, it is. It gets a bit much inside the car though.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then yeah, just leave that to dry to the touch, and it's totally up to you if you want to apply another coat. It helps sometimes because it shows you've covered everywhere, but that's kind of the reason why I like to use a cloth, just to spread it out, level it a little bit. But we'll let that dry, and then we'll give a quick demo of the impact of water on non-treated and treated.
Yeah. So that's pretty much touch dry now.
Yep.
Ready to pour some water on and do the test.
So what I'm going to do is just tilt it over just a little bit so the water runs off. And what we should see is, you'll see it absorbing into there, and as it gets to there, it should bead up.
Go for it.
As we go.
Not a bad demo on that, Dave. Untreated, treated.
Yeah, it's just going in a little bit where the tape line was, but you can see there as the beads, it's not penetrating the fabric.
It's doing its job.
Yeah.
Will that one bottle treat your whole car, or get multiple uses out of it?
Yeah, one bottle will do the whole car, yeah.
Right, I think that's a good place to wrap this one up.
Yeah,
Best
absolutely.
crack on and finish the whole thing. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.